Hey guys, welcome to the Killing the Tea podcast. This is Gare,
And Kate.
and we are going to be discussing all things chills, thrills, and kills. Kate and I are going to be talking about our favorite books, TV shows, and movies that are in the thriller or crime fiction genre, as well as some reading habits and other items related to how we met on Bookstagram that will fit in with this podcast. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you have fun and get totally terrified.
Yesterday, I read all of Stay Awake yesterday, and both
Okay.
of my dogs sat by me like the whole time. It was so cute.
The Megan Golden.
Yes,
Yeah, I really like
I
that one.
loved that one. That is like when the unreliable narrator isn't necessarily like drunk or
I
like when
know.
it's amnesia, sometimes you can do it in such a
Mhm.
good way. And I felt like she did really well with it.
Yeah, I agree. I cannot stand the like trope of having the amnesia because of somebody drinking too much.
It's not as cool with the drinking.
I mean, I really liked it with the girl on the train because a
Yes.
lot of other people weren't doing it, but then I felt like because that was so successful, it started to
Yeah.
become a thing after,
Yeah. Yep.
and I was just like, I'm not into
Yeah.
this, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
So, all right, well,
Cool.
I guess this is
This
the
is
new
episode
episode.
2.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
Killing the Tea
Mm-hmm.
with
We're gonna
my
talk
dear
about our
friend Kate.
favorites.
Yeah,
Yes.
our
Yes.
favorites. Kate is my favorite.
Oh, stop.
Kate,
Stop. You're killing
Kate
me.
the
I don't know how to accept compliments, so you can't be
Kate the
doing that to
Great.
me. Oh no.
You get that a lot?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, Kate the
I don't
Great.
I
Yeah,
don't talk to a lot of people though.
that's
Is
gonna be like your podcast host's nickname.
that's a good point. Now we're gonna have to incorporate it
Yeah, Kate the
for
Great.
sure. Now
And
I'm gonna have to think of something cool for you too, though.
just as long as it's not like scary Gary.
I just thought like Gare Bear was the first thing I could think of.
I get that a lot, actually.
I
I get that a lot.
figured.
Bear Bear, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of our favorite things
Hmm.
is kind of the theme of this episode.
Yeah. If we
Yeah.
were musical theater fans, we'd break into that song about favorite things, but we're
Give me a
not.
few of my favorite things.
Yeah, that one.
That'll be the ringtone. Just kidding. Nobody wants to have me as their
No.
ringtone. um,
No.
so yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of a good theme for us to have for this episode
Hmm.
because um half the reason that our friendship is the way it is
Hmm.
because we are realizing that we have a lot of favorite things in common.
Yes.
Um, and we were brought together by the amazing community of Bookstagram.
Yes. Yes.
So, what, like, how did you find Bookstagram? Like, what got you into it? Do you remember?
So I'm trying to think what year it would have been because like I technically like have been active as someone who was actually posting in it really only since December in terms of like having the podcast. Like I would post about books every now and then, but I was definitely following a lot of people for a really long time. So
Right.
I can't totally remember when. Like I feel like it might have been like 2015 that I started realizing like I really could get good book recommendations by like following people that posted about stuff that I read too. And so for a long time, I was just using it as like I would see a post and like read about the book a little bit and then maybe add it to my Goodread or my TBR. So that's how I use it for a really long time. And then I always said that I wanted to talk to authors about their books. And for like my husband and I, for our work, we do a lot of podcasts for people. And I was like, I have all of the equipment. Like, I need to go ahead and try.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't think that as many authors would respond. Like when I started, I literally was like, I might be able to have like one a month. And then for a while, I was able to have like 4. And then I hit like a weird stall in August. So that happened, but it was really cool, like finding out like how many authors are like interactive even on Bookstagram. And so yeah, like I started like actually adding by posting stuff like December of last year.
That's insane because I feel like it was at least spring that you and
Mm-hmm.
I became friends. So like you weren't a huge part of Bookstagram for very long until we became
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love
Yeah.
that.
And it was like authors that kind of really connected us, which we found out last week.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I mean, I
Yeah.
love that though because I found out about Bookstagram for like 4 or 5 years ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to post, just aesthetic pictures of myself reading a book on my personal Instagram. And somebody that I know, like, was like, do you know that there's just a huge community of people on Instagram that solely post about books? And she was like, you should do like a separate one for all your books. And it was like January. I just remember because it was very cold and it was like that time when you're kind of like maybe, upstate New York when it's cold and the weather's
Yes.
really bad. Like maybe now I should just kind of get a hobby. So
I
I
hear
gave
they're
it a
good to
shot.
have.
Yeah, yeah. Never hurts to have a hobby.
Yeah.
Um, so then I just made one and I started following people and it was so cool. Like, I mean, it still is cool. I still really enjoy it, but I just remember that feeling of finding a community that I could
Mhm.
really build friendships on and like you said, it kind of opens doors to have conversations and be um in a conversation with different authors that you wouldn't normally because even if you go to a book signing, you might be like,
Yeah.
hi, like my name's Gare or like I'm Kate the Great. I loved your book. But
Yes.
like you can't have like an actual like big conversation because there's like a line
Right.
of people behind you, so
Right.
that was kind of my, I guess, I mean, I consider authors to be celebrities, like
I know, me
I'm
too.
just as excited to meet them as I would like actors and actresses and pop stars and everything. So
Yes.
to me, like that was kind of the big thing when I started
Hmm.
to be followed back by authors or they would respond to me and I was just floored because it was,
Yeah.
it's like such a rush to have
Yeah.
the opportunity to have conversations with them.
I agree.
So I loved it and I haven't looked back.
I know. Me
And it's been
neither.
like almost 5 years. And I,
I know you've been active for a while.
yeah, but I also like at the same time, I just feel like it's just the beginning. Like I feel like I'm now
Mhm.
like still trying to like figure out what I want like my aesthetic to be and I like
Yeah.
play around with that. But it's just for something that I've been doing for 5 years, it doesn't feel like I'm like 5 years into something. It just feels like it's the beginning for me.
Yeah.
As long as Instagram
Well,
sticks around.
I think Instagram will stick around, especially since they like finally stopped making so many changes all the time.
My God. I just
That was rough for a second.
I follow accounts on Book Talk,
Hmm.
but I just don't have the time or the energy to make a TikTok.
I
Like
know. I know.
mad props to people who do it. Like no, no shade whatsoever. I just cannot. I mean, like sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh man, I forgot to take a picture to post today. And I can do something really quickly, like a stack of books or like book mail or something. Like I
Hmm.
love taking pictures on my bedspread because my like comforter is white. So like the
Yes,
colors in the book really pop out. But
they do.
I just couldn't imagine waking up and being like, oh shit, I forgot to make a TikTok. Let me be an hour
Yeah,
late for work.
I know. I can't remember which month it was. I think it was June. I made myself do a reel a day for 30 days because like where you not got lucky, but a difference in our experiences is you like started when reels weren't like the only thing Instagram was like pushing so hard.
Right.
So like I would like make myself do reels and I was just like, oh my gosh, but I need to do more. Like it does reach more people for like my account, like that still needs like growth, but I haven't been doing them as much. I've been working more.
I mean, I don't know. I really do like the accounts that have reels and pictures.
Yeah,
I'm
I
probably never going to
agree.
be one of them until like Instagram like holds a gun to my head and they're like, you have to do this.
I know, I
But
know.
but I mean I like that. So I mean if you like continue to post your pictures and you also
Mhm.
have reels, I think that's like an
Yeah.
even balance for someone.
Yeah,
But
that's a
you're also more like tech savvy than I am.
yeah. It is like our job too. Like we just like make social media content for other people. So I just know more from that.
Yeah. But I mean, you're really good at it. So I feel like that comes
Thank
natural.
you.
Like I probably spend the same amount of time trying to figure out what I want to take for a picture that you could in making a reel because you could probably do it in your sleep.
Right, right. That's a good point.
Kate the
Yeah,
Great.
your feed is a lot cleaner though. You have an aesthetic. Mine is like all over the place right now. So I'll figure it out.
I like that though. I
Other thing
mean,
is I don't have a separate Bookstagram and I am like,
girl,
do I need to do it?
I want you to.
Yeah. Well, I guess I need to somehow call it Kate the Great. Some version of that.
Yeah. I like that. Um, I am actually kind of happy with my Bookstagram aesthetic for the first time in 5 years.
Nice.
Um, However, my only concern is I feel like even for just photos,
Hmm.
certain things are not trendy as much as they used to be. Like
Yeah.
even like filters and stuff like that. Like I have
Hmm.
presets for Lightroom that I
Nice.
like love and I have spent so much money on presets trying to like play around
Yes.
with what ones I like. But
Yeah.
what if the like super clean look with the colors, in the book cover popping out, like what if that's just like all of a sudden people are like, no, we want dull, we want gringy, like
Yeah, they do
or
that every now and then.
grungy,
Yes.
dingy, like or like
Yes.
something like really dark. And I'm like, oh man,
I
another
know.
$50 in presets. Here I come.
You're gonna have to like make your own maybe so that you can sell them. No,
There are
never
so many
mind.
accounts. I mean, I feel like I used to be good at it when it was like I don't even remember what app I used to use because now I use Lightroom, but
Yeah.
I used to use an app and I would kind of like mess around with them and be like, oh, I really like that. But my presets didn't work well for every picture that I took.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the problem that I like ran into. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't know. Hopefully the clean,
Yeah.
bright look just stays trending for
Yeah.
a while now. But I do
Yeah.
know a few accounts that I would love, love, love if they made their own presets and sold them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It does make it a lot easier. It's like a more seamless process when you have it.
Yeah, it is really easy. Like I go back and forth between like three, so I can just,
Hmm.
check all three and then I usually save them and decide which one I like the best. But
Nice.
um
Nice.
but yeah, do you think that like after joining Bookstagram, like did it impact your way in the sense of either expanding your reading horizons or finding that you were interested in maybe other things because of Bookstagram?
Hmm. So it was especially following more authors, what I think helped me like find out about even more books and authors because so many of them like promote their friends' stuff or people they're connected to as well. So once I even like started booking people for the podcast, sometimes they would like recommend people too, or they would be like, you would really love this person, like I'll connect you via email. So in that sense, like I literally was even getting like connected to more people, but there were also just like more books I was finding out about than I was before I started following even more authors. So that made a big difference. I feel like you asked another question, a second question, and now I can't think of what it was.
other hobbies? Like, did you find that like you became interested in other things because of Bookstagram, other than
Oh
just
yeah.
like different genres to read?
That's a good, I don't think so. I mostly still just read and watch TV. So I don't think I added any like other hobbies. I can't think of any others. Did you get another hobby?
I became like a little bit more interested in photography. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you wouldn't know it because like my pictures are very like basic,
Mm-hmm.
which like is what my
Well, but
aesthetic
that's
is.
like hard to accomplish. People don't realize that like simple takes time to look good.
Right, right. But like I want my aesthetic to be like not spending an hour on a picture because like at the end of the day I am on this platform to talk about books and expand
Yeah.
my like list of books that I want to read and things like that. So like people who spend hours on their photos, they look
Mm-hmm.
absolutely gorgeous and I'm
Yeah.
so jealous that they have the patience for that. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I just, they're a little basic, but like even like playing around with like how high books are in the picture or like
Mm-hmm.
portrait mode or things like that, like I found that like I did have a little bit more of an interest in photography because of
Yeah.
Bookstagram. Like I'll get a book in the mail and try to picture like what I want my picture to look like when I post on Instagram, or
Right.
like see something when I'm driving and be like, that would be a sick picture for Bookstagram if I had like this
Yes.
book. Um, but yeah, like I think that that definitely wasn't something that I really was interested in until Bookstagram because I didn't really have, like it was like selfies with my friends. That's what I was using my camera on my phone for.
Right.
Like it
Right.
wasn't anything extraordinary. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But then yeah, I feel like and now like I like kind of like look at like Pinterest and other people's like feed and I'm like more interested in like the picture that they took as much as I
Hmm.
am the book.
I also read digital books, and that's another part where like it does the picture is not as pretty when you're using a laptop and then if or not a laptop, an iPad, but then if you take a picture with the Kindle, it's black and white. So I have thought about like how to get a little bit more creative with that because I just can't bring myself to turn pages. You would think that like your background looks good because you have books and like Tyler's always like you need bookshelves and I'm like but I don't want physical books.
I don't know though, because I feel like you are definitely a very creative person, and I
Mm,
feel like you do have an aesthetic all
hmm.
on your own, but I think you could still take pictures with your Kindle because a lot of people
Yeah,
have, like me, like I have an aesthetic. There's a lot of other people who have different aesthetics too, that
right.
they kind of take a very similar picture or they take like the three
That's
exact
true.
same picture. It's
Hmm.
just a different book, and
Yep.
you can use programs to put the image of the book on your Kindle
Yeah,
cover or
yeah.
whatever. So I totally believe in you. I think that
Thank you.
Kate Kate the Great is going to be popping off on Instagram by the time this comes
Yes.
out.
I need to. I need to just post more pictures because you're completely right. It's like it's still like technically easier to do than trying to learn how to lip sync with in a real sound.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I probably would post more then. So I probably should.
I think you got it.
Yeah.
I also like feel like my little like casting shtick that I do kind of
Yeah.
became a thing because of Bookstagram.
I would yeah, I would think so.
I like didn't I used to not take it as seriously.
Oh yeah.
Before I started posting them on Bookstagram. The only reason I started
Yeah.
doing it is because I have a really bad memory. So when you're trying to keep track of like a bunch of characters and like a thriller
Yes.
especially, like one of the worst things is when you get to the end of the book and they're like, Kate's the killer, and you're like, oh shit, which one was
Who's
Kate?
she?
Who's
Yeah.
she? So like I'd be like, oh, like this girl's like beautiful and blonde. Like I'd like put like Blake Lively next to like the character's name so I like I could differentiate between them. And then
Nice.
that was kind of something that like really popped off because I used to not like really care. I just wanted to watch a
Mhm.
movie and I didn't care about like casting or like, having
Yeah.
like huge names and like stuff like that. But I feel like that probably took off because of Bookstagram. And now like I'm more interested in it because of that. So
Yeah. That's kind of cool though, because it's like I
yeah.
think some of the stuff that does take off the best is stuff where like you were just doing it for fun at first. And so
Mhm.
then it was probably like fun for other people too. And it was probably, I'm assuming, a new concept. I know some people cast books still, but I feel like yours was the one I was seeing the earliest. But it's cool when like this it just comes from something you were having fun with and now you're like, okay, like I can really plan these out and post them and like people love them. Most people.
Yeah. Yeah. I really think it's cool. The only like I mean, I love when people do their casting things too.
Mhm.
I don't think there were any bookstagrammers that did it when I started doing it.
Right.
Um, and people make like reels, and the way that they kind of set up their pictures of their cast is so original and so unique. The
Nice.
only time that like it's become a problem for me is when I literally will block people when they copy the exact collages that I do.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like even down to like having like the headshots of the actors and actresses like being black and white. And I'm like, this isn't but that's a whole nother
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh yes, it is. It is.
Because there are some
Some
really cool
people are
things that
not
people do.
original.
No, no. And there's some like really cool ways that like people set it up and like how they kind of
Mhm.
post it. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like I love it. There's one, her name is Allie and her account is Allie's Bookshop Around the Corner.
Yes.
She does this really awesome thing where she doesn't necessarily like cast an entire book, but she'll
Uh-huh.
pick an actor or an actress and list the different characters in books that they would
Mm.
be good in. So it's like more
Nice.
about like that personal like actor and what she could
Yes.
see them in compared to like casting the entire cast of characters in one book. So she
That's
does that, and I
cool.
think that's like awesome.
That's
I
a
love
really good
that.
idea. I
I love
saw her post last night because she also kind of does like pop culture memes with
Oh my
a
God, yeah.
like book slant to it.
Yeah.
And some of those ones from Don't Worry, Darling were cracking me up last
My
night.
God, she is so funny. She is so
Yeah.
funny with the memes that she comes up. And like you said, like it was like 1 or 2 hours after those pictures were on the internet, and she was like posting
Yeah.
like 6 or 7 memes. Like she's so quick too.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
she does it. She must drink a lot of coffee. I feel like
Probably
I'm,
because it was at night.
yeah,
Maybe she lives in a different time zone.
I just don't think she slept. She probably just like
Probably
stayed
that.
up all
You're
night to make the
probably,
memes because she's like,
yeah.
I'm gonna get a hold of this before it gets old on the internet.
Mhm.
Like yeah, I thought I was busy and I always felt like I was busy for the past like 5 years, but she just like absolutely knocks it out of the park because
Yeah.
she's so quick and they're so funny.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're so funny and she does them so like it's not like it's just like a meme that somebody made that was half-assed and like not that funny just so
Yeah.
they could be the first person. Like hers are actually really
They
hilarious.
were
So
all good.
another thing we love about Bookstagram, Allie.
Yes. I love like the specific niche like applications of like large pop culture memes. Like it's like think of how many niche communities. Like it's not even just Bookstagram. Like there's so many that like put their spin on stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's really
I think
fun.
that's cool.
Yeah, I think that like right now we're probably like at the height and it's only going to get better of like originality on Bookstagram because a lot of people are doing just like they don't care about like following any trends or
Yeah.
anything specific. They're just like posting whatever they want,
Yep.
and it's
Yeah,
really cool.
that's the vibe for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Especially like I love when you see like a book trending on Bookstagram that you didn't expect or like maybe not a lot of people have talked about and then you kind of find even more friends because
Yes.
of like right I mean obviously right now we know that like The Last Housewife is
The
bringing,
best.
bringing everyone in the Bookstagram community together. Because Ashley Winstead is just amazing. And
She's perfect.
that's definitely one of my favorite books of the year too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that, I mean, that has, we, yeah, we agree. I feel like that still is my absolute favorite. I've read a lot of good books this year, but I do think that's my favorite.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite so far too.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed part one of this episode. If you did, make sure that you come back on Thursday for part two. And don't forget to stay up to date with everything that we're reading and talking about on our Instagrams at Gare Indeed Reads and at the girl with the book on the couch. Links are also in the show notes, so make sure you follow.